This video contains anime spoilers for Attack on Titan, but no manga spoilers. So if you've already caught up on the anime, then you're good to go. But if you haven't watched Season 3 Part 2 yet, then come back to this video after you're all caught up. Attack on Titan, the anime phenomenon that took the world by storm in 2013. Also, I was in elementary school at the time, so I wouldn't really know that, but that's what all the other anime YouTubers are saying, so I'm gonna go with it. Before I even knew what anime really was, though, when all the anime that I watched was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z, which I just thought was like any other ordinary cartoon, I knew what Attack on Titan was at the time. I'd seen the posters, I'd heard the name over and over, and so after years of hearing about just how good it was, now that I'm old enough to finally actually watch it and not be scarred for my life, I finally decided to watch the entire thing, and just like everyone else, I'm waiting for the final season to drop, because I'm anime only. So here's my reaction to each of the seasons as I was watching it. Oh my gosh, this is so hype! Yeah! Kill the Titans, yeah! Whoa, the story is way deeper than I thought. Wait, you're telling me there's even more betrayal? Oh, that's where Levi is. Yeah, Levi! No, Aaron, you got captured again! Alright, time to see what this Season 3 Part 2 hype is about. No! Everyone's dying! Oh my goodness, yes, Levi! Oh, now this is just a masterpiece. I initially went into Attack on Titan thinking it was going to be just another super hyped action show. And at first, that's what it was. The first season really captured all the hype feelings I was looking for, and it really nailed every fight scene with emotion driving it and meaning behind every fight. But at first, that's all it was. Just really good action and hyped fight scenes to get you pumped. The thing is, pure action just doesn't last forever, and it quickly becomes dull if that's all the story consists of. Like how the first Transformers movie was awesome because it was the first time we got to see the giant robots fight, but that's all it was, and 5 movies later, or however many there are, the pure action and flashy explosion tactics just don't work without a story upholding the action and giving an actual meaning to all of the characters' motivations and feelings. Without those things, the fights and explosions are just kind of hollow and lifeless without meaning. So luckily for Attack on Titan, Season 2 comes around, and this is where the actual lore of the story comes in. I never expected the story and the lore to go so deep, and what they did a great job of was actually limiting the fighting, and the story had more of a drama or mystery aspect to it. So when the fights did come around, it had a significant amount of drive behind it, and like I mentioned before, the story and the show wasn't just about fighting anymore. And to me, that's where I knew the show was heading in the right direction, because they were avoiding exactly what Transformers didn't avoid, which again was just all fighting and explosions and cool scenes with no actual meaning behind them because the story doesn't make sense. But back to what I was saying about Attack on Titan. So they weren't just fighting for the sake of flashy action sequences. Specifically with the reveal of Bertolt and Reiner being revealed as the Colossal and Armored Titans, they combined the shock factor the reveal produces with the pure emotional heartbreak and denial that Eren and the others go through as they learn they've been betrayed again. And it really makes the audience and the characters think, who really is the enemy? With that scene alone, it made me rethink everything the story was going to be about, because they add a sense of mystery behind everything about the Titans, and if there is more behind them than what we initially thought. This scene also really plays a huge part in Eren's character development. This is the second betrayal that he experiences in such a short amount of time, and it is the start of when he begins to change from just, I want to kill all the Titans because they're evil and I hate them, to I want to fight for the freedom of humanity and for freedom from this cruel world. The two betrayals really make the audience question the lore and what's really going on. I think this is the first really impactful scene that has a huge impact on the viewers for reasons other than pure hype and just pure revenge. The scene in season 1 with the death of the Levi squad had a similar feeling, but it wasn't as powerful because we didn't really know the characters who died very well. Everyone only cared about Petra because she was a cute girl. Back to Reiner and Bertolt's betrayal, the fight that resulted wasn't just a pure rage-driven fight either. Eren actually starts to use his brain and he listens to his allies rather than just going for a bunch of falcon punches to end the enemy in one blow. What makes this scene different from the fight with the female Titan was that Annie could have just been an odd case of betrayal and there wasn't as much emotional attachment to her. Because they didn't really develop her other than, oh, she wants to be in the military police and I guess she's good at fighting. She was just the typical case of, you betrayed us and we hate you now. But with Bertolt and Reiner, they really convinced us that they were good. The fact that they were stuck in the abandoned castle thing with Ymir and the veteran scouts and Historia and some other people who were in that group, and they were really acting like they were going to die and that they were going to do their best to survive along with everyone else. And this erased all suspicion of their true identities and intentions. Something extra that they added that shows just how good the writing is that they showed a heroic moment of Reiner risking his life for the others, which would remove all suspicion that he's evil. It also places the label of this guy is kind of a self-sacrificing hero. And this is an example of something that Attack on Titan excels at, which is developing most of the side characters. Not every side character is developed equally, but they give most characters a defining moment, a moment where we get to see who they really are, a moment that allows us to actually have some emotional attachment, or at least see what type of person they are. Like how we got to see Eren's mom die so we can understand why Eren is driven by rage during the first and for most of the second season. To a lesser extent, they do this with most of the side characters, which is actually why the main characters aren't even on the screen for a big section of Season 2. Oh, except for Levi. I mean, he isn't even really in Season 2, but he gets a main character role in Season 3, so he gets developed really well and becomes more than just another quiet, super cool fan favorite character.
But we still wanted more Levi!
Shut up, fangirls. Other characters need development too. Just kidding, I kinda wish there was more Levi also, but he has his own OVA, and he gets a main character role going forward, so I think it's fine. I mean, they even give, like, Ymir, a character I forgot existed, a big enough chunk of screen time for her backstory to where I actually kind of understood where she was coming from, and I actually kind of cared about her, and she wasn't just a random character I didn't even know existed. So anyway, the point I was trying to make about the side characters and how that relates to Reiner and Bertolt's reveal was that because of the fact that they were developed pretty well, and because of the fact that they were given a lot of moments that made us really think that they were on the side of humanity, and the fact that we didn't see it coming at all, or at least I didn't see it coming at all, and how they executed it just really let the emotions of shock and disbelief and heartbreak sink in, not only for us but for the characters as well. And again, we can see just how good the writing in Attack on Titan is. They could have rushed it or made it predictable, or they could have even made it so that there was foreshadowing so that we as the audience knew it was coming the entire time. But no, they keep building up the suspense and our connection and familiarity with these characters so that when they reveal themselves to be the Titans that broke the walls 5 years ago, it just leaves us as the audience in disbelief. And the way they executed it was perfectly done. I mean, maybe it was just me, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure most of the viewers didn't really know that Reiner and Bertolt were going to be revealed as those two Titans, unless you got like spoiled or something. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, in my personal experience, they didn't hint at it too much, and if it was hinted at, it was very subtle to the point where it wasn't really meant to be obvious foreshadowing. And you would only really notice it after you knew that they were those Titans, so yeah. But anyways, there are just a lot of scenes in this show that are like this, scenes that are just memorable, whether it's for fighting or for reasons other than fighting. And that just shows how good and how well written this show is. And I can't get to every single scene, so I'm going to end up making another video covering more of these type of scenes, but I do want to go over one last one for this video. And the final scene I'm going to discuss is the best scene of Season 3, both Part 1 and Part 2. And it's when they had to choose between Armin or Erwin for who was going to be saved by the Titan Serum. This scene captures what this story is built on. Without sacrifice, nothing can change. But this was definitely the most emotional scene, and arguably in the entire series as a whole. It wasn't as cool as a giant Titan fight, or as traumatizingly sad as a sad backstory reveal. It was just a perfectly written dramatic sequence that reminded us yet again that in the cruel world that our characters live in, there isn't cliches or conveniences for anyone. Heartbreaking sacrifice is inevitable, and this scene captured that more than anything. Up until this point, there wasn't any situation like this where they had to directly choose who was going to live and who wasn't. Eren and Mikasa actually fight against Levi because he wants to choose Erwin over Armin. And what follows is just incredible writing. Levi is put in a situation where he and many others want to choose Erwin, but Eren and Mikasa are pleading with everything they have to keep Armin alive. More characters show up to add to the weight of the moment, and it was just an incredible scene. There were so many opportunities for it to be lighthearted, cliched, or predictable, but it managed to keep me on the edge of my seat the entire time, not knowing what was going to happen. This was by far the most well-written dramatic moment of the entire series to me. No fighting to hide behind, no convenient solutions to save both, just a perfectly written, intensely dramatic and emotional scene that shows how painful living in that world can be. And Armin ends up being chosen, which surprised me because Levi is the last person to be swayed by emotions. But for those of you who have watched the scene, which you probably have if you are this far into the video, this wasn't something normal. Many shows have collapsed trying to make an emotional scene like this, but it shows that Attack on Titan can shine without action, which still blows my mind because it's an action show, and I started watching the show thinking that's all it was. I don't know how many shows that are this good, not because of the incredible action scenes, but because of everything else. And then you add the action as a cherry on top. When every other part of your show is just as impactful, if not more impactful than the action when you're an action-based show, you know you have something special on your hands. And I'm beyond excited for Season 4. And since I'm anime only, I don't know what is going to unfold next. It's sad to know that this will be the final season, but if they could make it just as good as Season 3, if not better, filled with scenes like the ones I talked about, and a conclusion that can wrap everything up, including the incredible action, rage moments, and dramatic scenes that reflect the theme of sacrifice, I can confidently say that this show will be considered as one of the best animes of all time. A story that I would only be able to describe as a masterpiece. Hey guys, thank you so much for getting this far into the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of a couple things I think that Attack on Titan does incredibly well. I hope that you guys like this type of video. I've just been doing skits usually, but I'm starting to really like these type of videos as well. Like I said, I'm going to be making more of these type of videos about Attack on Titan because I was not able to cover everything I wanted to cover in this video because it would have just gotten way too long. So look forward to that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.